I'm going to try to do it. Good morning, you guys. It is January 18th. We are here. We are going live in a whole bunch of different groups. And Leah Marie, how are you this morning?
I'm doing okay. I've been having a technological meltdown. I don't know if it's that like I'm going to get my period, but I was enraged yesterday on the verge of tears.
Right.
I'm not a tech person. And of course my whole, business is run on a computer. So sometimes it doesn't work out well. So long story short, I ordered a new webcam yesterday and hopefully that one's going to work better than this one.
I don't know what it is in my bloodline. I'm going to go live on TikTok. I don't know what it is on my bloodline, but like any woman in our family and technology, it's like,
doesn't mix.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like I can just feel the vibe when my mom texts me that there's something wrong with her computer or something. Cause like, just like the way I read it, I can feel her pain,
her
of
rage,
frustration, And then I don't know about you, but when I'm in a mood like that, I lash out on everybody. And I think I'm getting ready to get my period because two things happen when like the week before my period. Well, three things. I eat every carb that's not nailed down. I crave carbs. It's the only week that I'm like, I need chips. I need a bagel. I need a donut. And it's never good carbs. I crave carbs during that week. I get super edgy. I feel like everybody's stupid around me. I'll be like, why would you do that now? Why would you not do that 10 minutes from now? Or like, of course I'm not going to do that. Like everything I say has a fucking tone behind it.
Yeah.
And then I'm sex crazed.
Oh,
it's like the week that I can have tons of sex is like that week. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's like that's an extreme opposite, right?
But I do have less patience for sure.
Oh my gosh. I am just like, no, I didn't say everything. And then I can hear myself because I always have this voice up here that goes, you are talking like a raging bitch. But do I stop? Oh, fuck no. Do I apologize? Most of the time not. I
had to apologize yesterday because I was like losing my shit. And I was hangry on top of it. So I was just the shit show.
Yeah. Well, that's when the carbs come in, right? Then you got to feed your body the carbs.
I made a big burrito.
Yeah. I mean, like I made dinner for the first time last night in months.
Wow. Because Jared just has been cooking every day.
Yeah, he cooks every day. I mean, he's a stay-at-home dad. What else is he going to do, right? So, like, he cooks all my meals, and we made a decision yesterday to redo this bedroom. And of course, because I'm in this week of like, do it now. I feel like the girl that eats the gum and swells up like a tick in Charlie, the factory or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, do it now. So he's been in that bedroom, sanding walls, doing drywall, all this stuff. So then I was like, okay. So I did the boys. It was like old school single days. I cooked dinner. He helped me clean up dinner a little bit. I did the baths. Like it was, you know what?
You and I are very similar in that way of when we decide something,
it's now
full speed ahead. There's no looking back.
Dude, I bought like 25 things on Amazon yesterday from this decision. I already told Joe, I'm like, okay, it's like going to be Joe's glam room and my like showroom. And it's going to be like my new office. And so I was already like Josie always spends the night at her girlfriend's house every Wednesday night. So I was sending her like, I want this wallpaper. I want this chair. And she's like, yes, queen. Yes, queen. So we were just like sending shit back and forth to each other. And it was just, Jared's like, you guys are out of control. So then I said, this weekend, we're going to go to a consignment shop and see if we can find like old cool shit to like put in the room or spray paint.
Or Facebook Marketplace. I got an awesome dining room table off of Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
But you're moving. You're going to do all this work for this room.
See, this is the deal. Like Jared's up there working on this room. And I said, and I keep telling him every time I walk in there, I said, do 6 months worth of work. Like we're only here 6 more months. Don't be like busting your ass to make a perfect wall. Like patch the fucking holes, move the fuck on. Like we don't need to sand it twice or paint it 3 times. Like slap some fucking shit on the wall and let's go. But we had to, because that room, I don't know what my older children were thinking. Like they put, and I do know what they're thinking. At their dad's house, their bio dad's house, they were never allowed to put a hole in a wall. Like heaven forbid there be a puncture wound for a wall, because the wall has feelings apparently. So he never let them hang anything. He never let them like hang anything that would like have to require plaster to fix, for resale value, even though the motherfucker has never moved. Anyways, So when they came to my house and, we bought this new house, I let them do whatever the fuck you want. It's your room. So Josie has literally painted her room like 3 times, which I've never helped her. So hard telling how fucking accurate that looks. She's a pretty good painter.
I hate
But
painting.
like she's hanged vines in her room that are like every 6 inches. She had a record wall where there was puncture holes for records, like walkers hung, signs and mirrors that he's like drilled into. I didn't give a fuck. But when these guys took shit off the walls, they also did not give a fuck and like literally pulled off drywall doing it. So Jared's up there, like at least making it look presentable. Because if we do want to sell it, they would have walked in that room and been like, Jesus, did you guys, was this like a war room? Like what was going on? So
yeah,
it'll at least,
our house is kind of like that too. Cause it's like 100 years old. So you try to hang a picture and the wall it's crumbling in your hands just with the one nail you just stuck in it. So we have to be careful.
Yeah. So he's up there doing that. And I don't know. I mean, I know I've told you this. He has ADHD pretty bad. So when he's focused on, oh God, yes, Jared, when he's doing that, the house could be on fire and he's never going to notice. And so I have to be mindful of that, of like, he's on this task. Don't distract him. Like take care of yourself for a couple of days, Sam. So that's been kind of funny.
David had downloaded Peacock. You know that app that's like a streaming app? He wanted to watch.
I'm all over that app. I love
you are?
That. That's where all the house
I just got it because he needed to watch a playoff game. I think it was last week. And so I've been obsessed with watching all the Paris Hilton docuseries because I love the docuseries. So I was watching, it's like Paris in Love. I think there's a couple seasons, but she's got really severe ADHD. I didn't know that. And as you watch it, you can tell. I mean, she's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. I got Peacock a long time ago because that's where the housewife shows are.
Right.
And I'm obsessed with watching I don't watch all of them. Like I like Salt Lake City. Beverly Hills, I just watched. I'm halfway through the most recent episode this morning when I was during my workout. Potomac.
So you like watch them all.
Florida, like the old ones, like all the ones that have been around for a while. These new ones, Dubai and New York City, they have all these young bitches in it. And I'm not watching that kind of stuff. Dallas, I never got into. Miami, I never got into. Like, I only watch a handful. But anyways, we need to talk about timing.
Yeah.
We need to talk about some timing. So I had consults yesterday and there's always a theme. I mean, it's just, it's six consults and it just,
because the day before that, it was like crazy stories. Everyone had some crazy situation.
It was, but timing got brought up in 2 or 3 consults yesterday. And so I just want to talk about that timing is very important in divorce and in co-parenting.
Strategy.
It is. And so many people don't hit that pause button and go, okay, I have something to deliver, but is the person I'm talking to ready to receive? Because that's huge. That's huge. And I'm talking about not just your ex, but possibly your attorney, possibly your boss. Like when we're in this divorce mindset, we are anxiety ridden, panic ridden, like everything is now. It has to happen now. And I think the falsehood that divorce happens in 2.3 seconds, everybody needs to understand in this world today, you're not getting divorced under 6 weeks unless you have no children, no debt, you both agree and you find a judge that had a cancellation. Like it's not going to happen quickly. So you got to get that out of your mind first and understand that also with attorneys, your attorney has more clients than you. Like, so I get a lot of people saying, I called my attorney and no callback. I called my attorney all day and no response. They could have been in court all day.
Right. That's a fine line. And so that's why it's so important when you're first talking to your attorney is to communicate with them so that you know what the expectation is. Like, will it be within 48 hours or like, when can I expect a call back? Because you will, it'll make you go crazy thinking I'm spending all this money on this person and I can't even get an email back.
Right. And timing with the attorney, I would also like to touch on emotion. Like, are you calling because you're emotional right now? Something triggered you and it's happening now and you need to take care of it now. And like 24 hours from now, there's going to be 5 more things that have already happened, but also it's what happened wasn't as big a deal because you took the emotion out of it. And now you've
gotten a lot better with that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like when we first met, I feel like you were more of like, jump on it now when I'm in the moment, but you've gotten really good at just kind of like taking a beat and chilling out and waiting, maybe sleeping on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if nobody wants me to react initially, nobody wants that Sam to come for them when I'm first angry or upset or triggered, because it's not pretty, because I am a tongue lasher. I will cut you with my words. And if I don't cut enough, I will keep going till I see blood with my words. And I know that about myself. So with age, wisdom, obviously. So timing, like I know if I want to get something across to somebody, I have to wait till I can calmly, rationally, and emotionally handle the conversation.
Yeah. And sometimes that takes several days to be able to come around and address it more objectively.
Yeah. And I catch myself all the time with my kids and even with Jared of like, this doesn't need to be said right now because your delivery will suck.
Right.
Because I feel like, oh, I need to have a thought, but the person is not ready to receive it the way I'm ready to say it. So back in divorce, I had a client yesterday. She's like, my ex wants a divorce, and, or she said, I want a divorce, but I haven't told my ex. And I want to know, what does he do for a living? What's his temperament like? When is he home? When is he in highs? When is he in lows? I had another client, the same thing. He's a gambling addict. And she's like, and with them, any addiction, timing is everything. You got to catch them on the up, not on the down. And so just because your attorney says, hey, go talk to them about this, or, hey, we're going to send this over. If you know that the timing is not right for that to be sent over, talk to your attorney and say, whoa, not a good week. Not a good week. Something big this is not the week that I want to go send over my parenting plan. This is not the week I want to go send over my proposal for finances. And that comes with conversation too, with knowing who you're divorcing. We all know who we married is not who we divorce. And you have to keep up on that. You gotta be that step ahead. And I think too many times people in divorce stay so emotionally connected and like invested in the marriage still that they can't take a step away and go, okay, I have to apply strategy at some point.
Right. Or they just kind of spend so much time working up the courage to drop that bomb, right? They're just focusing on that, and then you drop it, and then they have no steps left that they've prepared for. And that was definitely me the first time. The first time around, I was just like prepping myself to have that big conversation. And then it was like, okay, well, what now? Like, what are we going to do? And it was, I had nothing. I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I did too. It took me 6 months to probably say I want a divorce. I mean, I go to my parents, what should I say? What should I do? What should I say? What should I do? And they were like, shit or get off the pot. And I was more like, but, and I wish I would have finished that sentence. Like, what was I so worried about? If I didn't want to be married to this person, what was I so worried about? Well, I mean, to be honest, looking back, I was worried of retaliation. I was worried he'd take the kids from me. I was worried that he'd kick me out. I mean, like all these things,
the narcissist things.
Yeah, that he threatened to do, right? That he had threatened to do in previous times. So I think that fear locks us into just that part of it. But there is so much strategy nowadays that you need to think about. And I'm not talking, so don't even come in the comment section and say strategy for finances, but that is part of it.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Do you need to get a job? Are you a stay-at-home mom? I mean, there's so many things to think about.
Exactly. Like, if I want to say I want a divorce and I've been a stay-at-home mom for 17 years, like I had yesterday, and that person flips scripts and all of a sudden takes me off all the accounts or stops putting money in a joint account, I'm fucked. All because I said I want a divorce. Like 4 words could really fuck you. And your kids, and so having a strategy and understanding timing, I wish I would have talked to an attorney before I said the words, because maybe they could have coached me on a better approach with him and had things set in place ahead of time. Timing with, telling my family, I premature told friends, and then I backed out and didn't say it for like 6 or 4 more months. And so that was embarrassing. And, timing is just a really big part of it. So like having a coach or having a good support system is critical on guiding you through that path of like, I know you're emotional right now, but it's probably not the best time because you don't have anything set in place. You don't have any backup plan to the backup plan. And that's finances, that's emotional support. You don't have a plan yet. That's, hey, worst case scenario, do I have my bag packed in the trunk to where if shit hits the fan, I can go stay on the couch at somebody's house? Do I have the kids' clothes packed, at least one night's worth and the school day clothes worth? That serious of a plan, that I know exactly what I'm going to do. But the timing is just critical. Yesterday, I had a client that said he's agreeing to just every other weekend, and that's it. And my attorney said, hold on, we got to go through all this other stuff first. And I'm like, you have an opportunity here to get that in writing, on paper, and your attorney's telling you to wait. Like, I was like, get that shit wrote down. Like, what is going on? So again, communication with your attorney about timing, but timing's critical. It really can make or break your case. It really can, and I think you were saying this month is divorce month. Most people pull the trigger.
It is. Yeah. It's known as divorce month. There's usually an uptick in filings this month. Mm-hmm. And I've read about it, and they contribute it to a few things. Really, the holidays put a lot of pressure on people. Financially, it can put a lot of strain on couples who are already maybe having a difficult time financially. It's also the time when you tend to spend more time with extended family. And sometimes that just adds a little bit of pressure to, it kind of exacerbates your already, existing marital issues.
Right.
And then you're spending more time also with your spouse. And so I think it's like this perfect storm. It's kind of this culmination of like all these things coming to a head. And people just realizing, hey, it's a new year. It's a new beginning. I don't want to have another year like this. I want a fresh start. I'm out.
Yeah. This is kind of on that same path. When people say women are the ones that want to end marriages and women are the ones that file the most.
Yeah. It is true that we file more.
Yes, but it's like,
but it's because the dude's not going to go.
Exactly. And I don't get
it done.
I don't get it. I have, my little pet over here on TikTok always comes for me like, women are the ones that break up the most marriages. And it's like, no, we're the ones that have the most follow through. Yeah. Like, you said what you said. And I said, go ahead and file. It's been 6 months, so I'm going to go file. And like,
it's like an average of 2 years of women contemplating, like considering a divorce before they pull that trigger. This is not I'm pulling the rug out from under you. This is I've told you this 1,000 times. Nothing's changed. I'm done.
Right. So that one always bothers me. Like, I see that a lot on my TikTok. Regina says we don't mind paperwork. Like, we filled out every other fucking form in our marriage, our children's lives. What's one more form?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just the follow through. And I think there's a little bit of male pride that they don't want to be the one that says that they ended the marriage,
or they don't want to lose money. I know a lot. There are men that have said that they didn't want the divorce because it's expensive.
Yeah. Along with that, yesterday, one of these clients' ex-husband said, I'm not paying you child support. And the woman was like, well, he said he's not going to pay me. And I'm like, girlfriend, if it was that easy, like,
not optional.
They'd all say that, like anybody paying child support, male or female, would be like, well, I don't want to pay that, So I'm like, it doesn't, but that's just that whole, what we think we know about divorce and what really is true about divorce. I just think so many people are uneducated, and that's keeping them in shitty marriages and relationships because they don't understand the system, or they don't understand how to get out of it, or they think something to be true that's not true. And it's like, you got to know your state and county laws. You got to talk to somebody and get an education about what you are entitled to. How do you get out? In some states, you got to stay married for 6 fucking months. Like, mandatorily, you just have to file for separation. Then you got to live together or stay in the same home for 6 months. There's one state that it's a year before you can actually get divorced. And to me, it's like, are you wanting couples to be a Dateline special?
Yeah.
Like, I just,
when I had divorced my first husband, we had just moved here. We moved to New York from California. And because we weren't technically New York State residents yet, we had to wait 12 consecutive months in order to file, because we weren't residents. So I had like moved out and kind of moved on. And, but yeah, I couldn't make it legal for a while.
I can't imagine. So ideally what the court system wants, if we're being, what the hypothetical, if I file for divorce in January and you tell me a year, they want us to live in the same house for a year, assuming what? Neither one of us get laid for a year. We don't because you can't, once you have sex, the time starts over. I mean, this is back in some counties still say that if you procreate together, it like negates the petition. So, yeah, like
whose business is that?
I know I remember seeing paperwork a couple years ago from a state, I can't remember what state it was, but it asked on the petition to divorce, when was the last time you had sex with your spouse?
Wow. I don't think that is anyone's business.
I know.
Like, I could have had sex yesterday and still want a divorce. Thank you. Sign it.
It's so funny you say that, because I remember the day my ex-husband was moving out. I had told him I wanted a divorce, and he went away for a while to go to a training and came back, and he came into the marital bed that night and he goes, "Do you have a problem with me sleeping here?" I was like, "No, I know we're divorced." No, doesn't faze me. And he asked me for sex in the morning. I was like, "Look, I can have sex with you and you're still moving out. Like, this is a no for me." Like, I've got off the hamster wheel. I am no longer
already checked out.
I'm not going for the love bombing. I'm not going to fall for that. But again, timing is important. And a lot of you have a lot of emotions wrapped up into your things that you want to say and do. Somebody's saying I have a lot of questions. You guys, we offer group coaching, but the best place, I think, you and I talked about this yesterday, the best place to be is inside the next chapter.
Yes, we do live Q&As every week after our workshop. We do a workshop every week. So it's awesome. You're getting trainings. You get to ask us questions.
And I was thinking, and I'm going to ask you on the spot and see what you think. I think we should probably leave that NARC training in there forever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. That's a really important one, because so many of our clients are in high conflict relationships with people who have narcissistic tendencies. So there's a lot of really good information. And then today we're doing part 2. We did part 1 on Monday. Every Monday we do a new training. And then there was still more to go. And everyone was like, "When's the next one? When's part 2? When do I?" And so actually today, after this, right? In like a half an hour, we're doing part 2. It's going to be good. Yeah. I have like the little thingy too. We're going through the 3 phases of a narc relationship. We're teaching you how to fight back. We're teaching you the slay method, which is a strategy to like leverage, anticipate, like it's the 4-part secret weapon of beating a narcissist in court. So we're going through all of that today. So get in there if you're not in there, so that you can get the training. We do it live, but then the replay stays in there for at least a month. So even if you can't hang out with us the whole time, or you're at work or whatever, get in there and then you can just go back and watch it whenever you want.
Absolutely. And what I love about the next chapter is it's all women, because we have a divorce group for dads, the men's divorce circle. But it's all women, and it's all women that are like sick of the bullshit and ready to like evolve.
Yeah, they're ready to level up,
right? To find new tools and
take care of themselves.
Exactly.
So boss bitches,
right? So we're talking about self-care. We're talking about
everything. Boundaries,
kids, parenting,
love languages,
right?
New relationships.
Yes. Anything. So yeah, the men's divorce circle, for those of you that are not in it, that are dads, it's growing. What'd you say? We have 300 dads that are hanging out over there?
More than that. Yeah. I've gotten like a huge influx recently, because I go through all the, to try to get them in there when they request it, and there's like over 300.
We just did a training yesterday in there about false allegations. If your ex is accusing you of shit that you're like, what the fuck? Where'd this come from? On how to deal with that. That was really good. And it's a quick, easy 25-minute training. But that Facebook group for dads is great. Our spouses are in there hanging out, letting us know if there's a question that we need to answer. You can ask them anything, but it's really been dads helping other dads. So it's been really nice cheering each other on.
And it's nice because I see them like talk a lot when they do post in there, because we have noticed that women have more of a tendency to share and to ask questions and to, they're very active inside of our groups. And men they're just not as active, and that's fine, but I've seen in this group that they're really supporting each other. They're answering each other's questions. They're making posts. It really is a nice little hub for them to connect and to lean on each other.
I like whenever they, somebody says, "I'm down today, this happened." And everybody's like, "Been there, man. I have been there too." Like, hold your head up, show up for your kids, and they're really supporting each other. So that's really nice. Somebody's asking, the cost to join the dads group is absolutely free.
Yeah, free group.
It's a free group for dads.
Private, so you just have to answer the questions and all that good stuff.
But the women's group, the next chapter, is only $30 a month. So I just ordered about $1,000 of stupid shit.
Cancel whenever. It's no questions. You just hit a button if you want to cancel it. But there's just there's so many workshops. There's workshops that when we run them separately outside of the next chapter, we're charging $47, $97 to run these workshops. Some of these go 45 minutes long, so an hour long. I mean, depending on what we're teaching.
Yeah.
We're trying to, moving forward, keeping them a little smaller so it's easier for you to take in all of that content. But there's just so much valuable information in there that people pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to go learn and be taught from two coaches who are not only certified divorce coaches, but we've been there. We've lived it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, we're going to duck out. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day. What is today? Thursday?
I know. I'm all the holiday and we have snow days. My kids not been in school for 2 days because of the snow.
Is it still snowing? Still snowing over there?
No, not really. I don't know if we're going to get more.
Dude, I'm so disappointed. I mean, I'm always disappointed in Illinois where I live. I mean, I don't know that there hasn't been a day I haven't woke up and been disappointed by Illinois, but even more so that I'm going to leave this state in 6 months and we didn't get snow this winter.
You have to. It's still early. There's no way you're not going to get any. It's going to drop.
Right now is like a salt shaker. Somebody just went out and like went, and that's it. It's like,
I bet you'll get
sub-degree temperatures. I don't think so. Like, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I not that I want a fuck ton of snow in my kids' home all the time. I don't want that, but I want to see them play. I bought snow boots 3 years ago. They've only worn them once.
Really?
Like, they outgrew the snow pants. I had to buy new snow pants. They never even used the last pair because it didn't snow for like 2 years. So it's like, what is going on? And let's have some snow.
Global warming.
Right. Let's see. Can we do a false allegations for the next chapter? I think we did a while back. We'll have to go look to see if that's been deleted or not. You guys, if you get into the next chapter
we did parental alienation. We did one of those, but we can add that to the list. That's the other cool thing is if you're in there, you just tell us what you want, and then we'll put a training together for like the following month. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we don't plan it too far out because like, if Beth is saying, hey, I want to know about false allegations, which does tie right into parental alienation a little bit, then let's do it. I did a post yesterday. I did a TikTok yesterday about false allegations. And all I just talked about that one part where I said, don't talk to your kids. And you wouldn't believe in the comment section, and I'm talking to you TikTok people who were like, yes, I do. I tell my kids that what is being said is not true. And I'm like, oh, bros and girls, like, what are you doing? Like,
it's tough. It's such a thin line to walk because I totally understand that. Like, you want your kids to know the truth. You don't want them to be thinking the wrong things. But if you're dealing with somebody who's high conflict like that, and they're just like dropping those nuggets all the time, at some point, it's almost like you just have to say, no, I didn't say that. So anyway, what'd you have for lunch yesterday?
So, and I think that's maybe what didn't come across in the video. I'm not saying you can't correct a simple, if my ex-husband were to say, your mom didn't come to the soccer game, you can be like, here's a picture. I was there.
I was there. So anyway,
anyways, let's go watch a movie, versus I'm not sure why your dad told you that. And that's really ridiculous that he told you that. And your dad's a liar. Like, going into this adult type of conversation of defending yourself is not what you should be doing with your children. You should just be simply like, well, you and I both know that was a creative story that your dad said. That's not true. And move on.
Yeah.
Like that, because
to prevent them from feeling that like they're in the middle of that conflict because it's not their fault.
I mean, my ex-husband would literally drive my children past a bar and say, if you ever see your mom's car there or she ever takes you there, that's where drunks go. So then when I would take them to, Buffalo Wild Wings or even a Monocle's because they served pitchers of beer, they'd be like, we can't be here. This is where drunks go. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, yeah. I'm like, well, it's awfully funny that we're sitting here eating fucking pizza, like, and there's a family over there with kids and there's kids over there.
Not just in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't know why you keep telling people that. For those of you that just missed that, Leah Marie is from Buffalo, New York. And when I told her a year ago that my son worked at Buffalo Wild Wings, he does not anymore. But when he did, she's like, does he live in Buffalo? And I was like, no. Why? And she's like, you guys have Buffalo Wild Wings? I was like, yes. And she's like, I only thought they were in Buffalo.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Do you not get out much? Do you not go to other states?
No, also maybe I'm also a vegetarian. Like maybe that's why. Like I've never eaten there. Like and I just see it around, and I'm like,
well, I mean, I wouldn't eat there either. Like the quality has gone down.
Really?
Oh, I think so. I think since COVID, places like franchises like that, I think have gone just food quality wise. We try to go to mom and pop places or like, privately owned places. Franchises have just lost it for me. I just, I mean, I still find myself in the drive-thru at McDonald's, don't get me wrong, but I just can't get behind like an Applebee's or a Chili's or anything that just can be found everywhere. I just feel like it's like cleanliness. If I walk in your bathroom and I'm like, ugh, I know sure as fuck like your kitchen is
right. And maybe they have trouble like keeping employees or something, and
I think so. And so like Jared, he used to do pest control for hotels and restaurants, so he worked a lot of nights, and because restaurants do not want to have the bug guy showing up during main business hours. So he would go into these restaurants at night, and he would tell me, Sam, we're never eating at this place, and locally where we're at. But he said he saw it over the years of working. He's like, it got to the point where nobody was holding anybody accountable for cleaning because they needed workers so bad that if the cleaning came at night and they're like, okay, whose turn is it to go to the bathrooms? Whose turn is it to mop the floor? Nobody would do it. He goes, everybody's sitting around playing on their phones and everybody's just checking the box that they did it, but nobody's actually doing it. So yeah, he would, around here, we were down to like just a few restaurants that we were allowed to go to because he saw the kitchen and he saw what they're not doing and following and things like that. And he turns people in and of not keeping up on code. But yeah, if I can go to a bathroom and I'm disgusted, we're not eating there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I'm just public bathrooms alone just really kind of just freak me out. I don't know if that's a condition or what. I just don't like them.
Well, I mean, Lord knows what's going on in there.
And I've been about with my colitis. I think there isn't a store in our city that I have not used the bathroom.
Oh.
So like I've been to like tire places, which I 10 out of 10 don't recommend for women to use the bathroom, get my oil changed. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I got to use that bathroom. That is one of the most disturbing bathrooms. I've been
like a mechanic
place where everything's just covered in black because their hands are so dirty when they touch stuff. But I one time went and got a tattoo somewhere and it was in a shed, but the storefront was in
red flag number one.
The storefront was in the front and it looked like a real store. But to use the bathroom, you had to like go to the back of the shed and like, you're walking through this big, huge shed, but the front was just a regular store. And then you open the door and it's like, whoa, we're in this huge machine shed. And the bathroom was in the far back. And it was one of those, like, if it wasn't an emergency, I would have held it, or I probably should just piss myself. I was like, I came back to the tattoo part and I said, do you send everyone back there? And he was like, yeah, why? And I was like, you shouldn't. You should just have a sign that says no restrooms available. Like that is not code. Like no one should be peeing back there. Like, oh, it was so gross. But I just think some people, it doesn't matter. Like they don't.
No, right. They don't think about it or I know. And like we had said before, remember those days where you drank too much and you're having to like hug one of those, throw up in it.
Remember walking into the bathroom at like a bar when you were underage drinking and like your feet were sticking to the floor, but you had no problem like sitting there pissing and puking in the same toilet. And it was just like, oh man. We're getting a little off subject. She said, you've helped me so much in my journey. I've set boundaries and he hates it. I don't respond. Good. I had a talk with a lady about that yesterday too. She was talking to me about, and I told her about you and I, and mostly you, because you help with boundaries so much. But I said, she was wanting about her son. She's like, why won't my son stand up for himself? Why won't my son blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, tell me all the times that you've stood up for yourself. And it was just like, she's like, I get it now. I'm like, well, you show fear. So he shows fear, like you're not showing him anything. You're not showing that you've ever stood up for yourself. Mm-hmm. And she really, I think, had a huge light bulb moment yesterday of like, this isn't about her son. This has everything to do with her getting her power back to show her son that it is possible to have boundaries and to stand up for yourself. So that consult was really good, but we need to touch base with her today and send her a link for the next chapter, because I think she'd be a good fit to take to that next level. So, all right, you guys, take care of yourselves. We are going to get ready and prepped to do our part 2 narc training on how to beat them in court. It's going to be a doozy. So if you are not inside the next chapter yet and you are a female, I don't know what you're waiting on. I don't know what you're waiting on. Okay. Join, hang out with us. All right. Come hang out with us. Bye, TikTok. Bye, everybody.